what's the biggest conversation that you would have in your life? Let's start there, getting married, as we all know. You meet someone, you have a kind of physical or emotional attraction to them, and at that moment you realize, you know what? I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Every wakeful morning and every return home evening, this is the person that I want to see. Mommy, Daddy, I've made my decision. Call Aunt Lewis, call, Uncle Jeffrey. I'm ready and I'm going to go. Now that is a big decision. So we're going to be commencing, and the conversation will be about marriage, because this was specifically a very near and dear space between myself and producer Zakir. We've been in this conversation for several years. And so what we've done was we've then decided to formally, and some would say forwardly, and some Kaapse traditionalists would even say verbarigingly, get involved with young, spirited, passionate individuals that is willing and ambitiously looking forward to explore the avenues and say, you know what, I'm ready, and let's find that special someone for me. That's the space that we were in for the past 2 years. And to put it even more dramatically clear, vulnerably placing themselves into a show night with complete strangers, with the anticipation and with the courage of, this might be the person that I'm willing to spend the rest of my life with. So at that particular moment, I think to myself, okay, I don't know what really floats your boat, but what I can guarantee you is that individuals that take steps of this nature comes from a very brave and a very courageous space, right? And I see some people in the back are laughing for that, right? Because there's just something about that statement that says, or something about that action that says, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm committed, and I'm serious. I'm going to be sharing with you the level of investment and, one would say, the comfort that so many crowds of individuals felt the need to express their opinions on the matters and the decisions of people wanting to step forward and find a potential partner. Some called it, well, those people are really desperate. And some people said, wow, those people are actually honestly brave. Some people said, well, Zina party is happening there in Wynberg. And some people said, wow, this is actually one of the most halal conservative settings of that nature that I've ever come across before. Regardless of the comments and regardless of the feedback, there's one thing that we cannot argue nor deny, that setting that we had provided a solution to the need that was constantly addressed in numerous communities. Well, let's talk around South Africa at least. So, in those experiences and in those moments, if you were with us, if you were there, you would have noticed a father crying that his 37, 38-year-old daughter, wow, I never believed my daughter will step up after 38 years and actually say, I might be interested in finding someone I'm willing to settle down with. You would never experience somebody standing on the stage, looking at their newly betrothed husband and saying, oh my God, that is the person I've been writing to the Almighty about for the past year and a half. And He's right here before me. You would have never imagined having students debate the validity of the setting that we have put forward. And that, my friends, I found to be an extremely interesting endeavor. So, for this conversation, you are either listening here, you're either married, you're either divorced, you're either single, you're either separated, or guess what, entirely uninterested in the conversation. But there's one thing that we cannot ignore, and there's one thing that we cannot argue here, and that is what, wherever you find yourself and wherever you are, it is the choices that brought you to this particular place. It is the choices that you've made that brought you to where you are, or the chances that you bet on in your life. Now, whatever you have experienced on your journey, I would like to ask you, what was that like? Who is it that promised you the world? Who gave you a feeling that thought, you know what, wow, this is someone I might consider for my life. Or who is the person that continues to shower or shine on your day? Or who is the person that made you just forget and give up on this entire concept of matrimony altogether? You're finding your place somewhere. Now, the duality discourse is here to challenge you. Because whenever you're going to present and come forward with a story or with an idea or a life scenario, whatever you're going to come with, these stories are going to show you, like we said, it is the choices that we take that has built us rather than the chances that we've taken that broke us. When you come forward and when you say, I've had way too many losses, the stories are meant to come forward and say, well, guess what? Let's get up and give it one more go. Right? As Thomas Edison also spoke about. When you bring forward your pain and your misery, this story is meant to shine light and show you that there is an endless life cycle of bitterness to sweetness. And this is the invitation that we are presenting to you. So many traditional scriptures have spoken about this. We're talking about 2,500 years ago. And I would like to share that with you. The scripture, as mentioned, as follows is, but we also are glorified in our suffering. You are promised to be glorified in your suffering. I mean, that's just bizarre. The conflict of that is so challenging. I already have 10 excuses as to why I disagree with you. But let me carry on. Let me read further for you. It says, because we know that your suffering, your stories, no matter what it was, it is meant to produce perseverance. And your perseverance is meant to produce character. And with your character, you are meant to have an unlimitless chain of hope for your life. There are thousands of scriptures throughout the times have spoken about this phenomenon. And that hope is not meant to put shame on you. I'll give you one more, just in case you're doubting what I'm saying. And this one says, and this one I carried by my side in a good few spaces and the journeys that I've walked on in the past. I found this to be something that agents and people will remind me of years later, even forgetting myself sometimes the conversation. I apologize if you're listening. So, as mentioned, the scripture goes as follows, that we are hard pressed on every side. Every side we are pushed and we are pressed on every corner that we can possibly imagine. But we are never crushed. We are perplexed, but never in absolute despair. We are persecuted, but never abandoned. We are struck down, but never destroyed. And as we all know, we are promised that with every difficulty, there is a promise of ease that follows. And I've seen that truth in every story, every tear, and every turning point that I have witnessed. So I invite you, and I ask you to bring forward your story, bring forward your journey, like the brave souls that will be investigating on their journeys of where they were and where they are today. What I want to share with you is a sit down with someone who had his first experience and only a few months. And when I say his first experience, as you know, I'm referring to the speed dating program that myself, producer Dak, was also part of some time ago, that we are no longer part of. We just need to obviously mention that. But this particular individual, he's taken on our offer. Documents were sent, signed, and approved. And he said, you know what? He's willing to come forward and share his story with us. Because a few months later, what happened to him was he found himself in a tuxedo. He found himself standing somewhere on the N2 with beautiful blossom trees and beautiful blossoming flowers. And the camera lady saying, okay, stand like this. Okay, put your hand on her shoulder now. Okay, put your arm in this way. And little did he know, wow, all of those faiths that were wrapped together, all of the hopes that he had eventually came to pass. We'll see you there on that journey.